Hello everyone, welcome back to Imagine Reading. As you can see by the title and by the thumbnail, I am doing a reading over some recent political issues that have taken place in regards to Donald Trump riding the high of his takeover of Venezuela, or some people may describe it as his victory. Some of the unfortunate incidences that has taken place in Minnesota in regards to two people, U.S. citizens who were just trying to help or trying to get out the way of trouble, being wrongfully um, deleted by ICE. I also want to get into a reading that I have around the plans with Gaza as well, just because I see that there's some things that's kind of like been coming up on my feed that has been leading me down this kind of like rabbit hole. And I want to see what I'm going to get as far as like when I try to do an intuitive reading on this and see what comes up for me. So this is going to be a bit of a heavier reading. This is a serious one. So I understand at this time you feel like you need to opt out or you need to come back or you don't want to watch it at all. I understand that. But with, this being my channel and this is something of interest to me and I feel like it should be of importance. Well, not just of interest, but of importance to me. And I feel like it should be of importance to others. I figured I would create this video and have it here so we all can share into this, because at the end of the day there is a lot that we all play a part in these like trying times. I'm not going to say dark, they're trying times, and so I definitely want to kind of just see what's anything that can get around that and if there are any solutions. I know for me one of the biggest things that I believe in is that a part of being prepared for something is just being informed. Yeah, so then you can move accordingly or gather more knowledge, connect with people, whatever the case may be. So that is just a belief of mine, and so that is why I am doing this reading. Outside of that, before I get into this reading, and because this is a reading that I'm not wholly informed of when it comes to geopolitical matters, when it comes to political matters itself, when it comes to legal matters and those kind of things. I am not a professional by any means. I'm just somebody who is simply interested, who is affected by politics, who lived through politics, who, dabble in politics, who vote, etc. I figure it would be right to do this, and I feel like it would just be responsible to do so. But I know that I'm not going to give this reading the care or the depth that it deserves, but I am going to do my best to do it anyway, because again, I don't need to have to be an expert on something to still have some kind of inputs or an opinion about it, and I'm more than happy to be educated or be more informed. That's what the comment section is for. I'm open to knowing more and being more informed, so there's that. So I want to issue that I don't want to say disclaimer, but just so you kind of know where I'm coming from and know that I'm not trying to do this with any kind of malice or ill intentions, or I'm leaning one way or the other on these topics. I'm really just interested in wondering why this is so important and it's affecting us now, and how it would affect us in the future. The other thing that I want to issue, now that I have that out of the way, is my actual disclaimers, mentioning that tarot is at least my tarot readings, they should just be used as guides, maybe confirmation hearings that again, that probably can allude to some things, elucidate to some things, or lead you to some solutions, or doing more research. They should not be used as kind of like for any legal, financial, medical, spiritual reasons, even. Just not because I'm trying to, I'm not saying this just to be like avoiding lawsuits. But again, I am someone, I'm still learning with tarot, and again, I'm very much over my head when it comes to this reading, because it's something so, it's a topic very heavy, and I probably shouldn't be reading it. But again, I don't feel like I need to be an expert in order to read on this, to deliver a message. Sometimes messages come from places that you least expect it. So if that's what I'm here to do, that's what I'm here to do. So please keep in mind that all statements made are alleged. I don't even want to say for entertainment purposes. It's just all statements made are alleged, because I have already confided in you that I am not an expert on this, and that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm just someone on the internet who's very much interested and feel like this is a very important times that we need to be locked in on, and that I feel I should, you know, spread the word about, and keeping you all updated, you know. So yeah, so now that we kind of had those heavy mentions, I want to, you know, affirmations out the way. I've given my foreword here. I am going to go ahead and get into this reading. Again, if there's something that I mess up, I apologize ahead of time. You know, charge it to my heart, not to my head. It's not, I'm doing it, you know, again, on purpose or with ill intention or maliciously. You know, again, this is just something I think that is of great importance. And I want to know, and I feel like others would too. So, with that being said, I'm going to get into this reading, and we're going to start off first with the Greenland situation. I know that Trump is really has a hard on for taking it over, and people are concerned, especially with how he kind of went about taking Venezuela. You know, he's very much take action and ask for forgiveness later. So I want to see what's going to come up for that, if there is anything more that's going to come up about this, because I was just rewatching my 2026 prediction video as well, and I remember I mentioned something about like the EU or whatever, kind of like trying to consolidate power, or like there's some like paradigm shifts and stuff happening. And I noticed that there is something that is going on with the, I want to say is the Canadian Prime Minister or President, him reaching out to China, who they have not had trade relationships with for years, but because of things that's going on with Trump, it is, you know, a lot of political analysts or whatever, you know, people who are really involved in politics are, you know, kind of like ringing the bell on that, like people really need to pay attention. And that a lot of places, like, you know, another one that people are concerned about is, you know, Germany is increasing their military power. And, you know, some people are like, hey, this is the stirrings of, you know, another famous time in history when certain things was happening. And then on top of the, you know, the amount of generational deletions that's going on across the world, especially in one concentrated place that is having a lot of shine on it. And the party that's committing these acts, you know, it's just a lot of people are kind of like, hey, this isn't unprecedented times. This is very much like another rhyme in history, but or a stanza is what they would call it in poetry, I think. Another stanza in history, and the story will continue onwards. But we must speak about it. We must talk about it. We must shine light on it, or otherwise, you know, it seems like we're complacent and we're not highlighting the parallels that's going on here. So I do want to get into the Greenland situation, because it seems like it's really shifting a lot of the things that's going on in the world as we know it, especially when it comes to our political alliances and the major powers that be, or the major countries that be, the global north, as some people would say. So yeah, I'm going to stop blabbing, and I'm going to get into this and see what comes up. So again, we're going to be focusing in on the future energy, possibility, stories that's going to happen here with Greenland was more than likely going to happen. What is going to kind of like be the fallout and result that we can see, at least for the year 2026. I don't know if I'll see anything further, but if I see something further in the future, oh well, again, knowledge is a good weapon to have. So let's get to shuffling here. This is what I have here. So let me make sure I have these all on the screen for you all to see. Do 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 do. Okay. So I have to be honest, when I see this Seven of Coins and I see this Eight of Cups coming up in reverse, this makes me feel a little nervous for Greenland, just because this makes me feel like, and this is something I keep getting, and I don't think we should be that surprised about it. It definitely feels like there's a deal, a contract, some type of negotiation agreement. It could be legalities or something like that that's at play here, because with this picture, it makes me feel like yes, there is a gamble, there is a risk here that Trump will take, but he's waiting to see if it's worth the strife or the struggle here, because again, with the missionary of coins here, especially with it coming up in reverse, he's very much taking his time, and it seems like he's trying to kind of like maybe negotiate for better terms, or the possibility of not maybe wasting military enforcements or something like that. But I do think he sees the value, or he sees a value in Greenland and really wants that to happen. But because of the I see like a lot of wiring, like a lot of strings, that is kind of like covering Greenland. So it makes it feel like it's like a tangled ball of yarn, and it's like, okay, well, it's kind of trying to figure out where to pull in order to kind of like figure out where um he can kind of get in that and maneuver and do what he wants. We also do have the Four of Swords here, and to me that's usually like you need to take a beat, take a rest, take a stop, um plan, strategize before you move forward. You cannot go in this kind of like gung-ho like you did in Venezuela. You need to really get your ducks in a row, because otherwise this is going to set off some other things that you probably don't want to happen. The underlying energies I also have here, funny enough, look at that, the Four of Coins. um they're like, no, you can't buy it. That's what I'm getting with that. The Six of Cups coming up in reverse, something from the past. Yeah, it's something about a past agreement or something that's coming up here that's like, no, you can't do it, you can't have it. And then we have the Pioneer of Cups also coming up in reverse. So to me, that's feeling like, as much as you want to be wishful thinking, you want to have your head in the clouds, you want to be daydreaming about this, it's not going to happen for you, my man. It's like you need to let it go. Yeah, look, we also have the Six of Swords as the other underlying card here as well. To me, this is kind of feeling like, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much you offer, or whatever kind of like monetary or resource things that you kind of offer. Greenland is off the table. And I think it's mainly because I feel like whoever is the opposing party is kind of like trying to stick it to Trump, or maybe trying to kind of like rein him in or something. Let's see here. See if I can get some more clarity. Okay, I had 3 cards that flipped over here. So the first one is the Four of Swords. I have, sorry, I'm trying to dig these other 2 out. And then we have the Magician in reverse. And then we also, see that 4 of Swords is coming out twice. See, I'm going to check something really quick. If the Marseilles has a different interpretation of the 4 of Swords. Oh, sorry, that's Wands, actually. I would think with this being Ramrod, it would be Swords, not the Wands. But, so my mistake, providing clarity. So gathering of friends and family, celebration and socializing, unfinished work, no time to celebrate. Okay, gotcha. So 4 of Wands, the 4 of Swords here as well. And then we have the Magician. That's usually speaking of manipulation of some sorts at play here. It's kind of going back to the 7 of Coins energy for me as well. And then the Knight of Swords. Why is he hung up on Greenland? Can I get... What is... Because I don't believe it's just... He's saying it's military, but I feel like what's the real reason? Let's see if that is his real reason. Okay, we have Emperor, we have the Justice in reverse. And what is this other card? 3 of Coins. I'm getting, there's not necessarily a political reason behind it. It feels more so like it's almost like a Girl Scout badge. Like if I was to take Greenland, it'll just be something else that is like a notch on my belt. It's bragging rights. It's some sign of achievement. It's something additional. And again, maybe a part of this is also a little bit of payback. I don't know why I'm getting something about payback. But I also feel like there's something here about payback as well. He has the 10 of Cups, the 5 of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. You want Greenland just because of bragging rights? Like, that makes no... At least to me, it makes no sense. But, again, maybe somebody can provide more clarity. Let's see. Will Trump take over Greenland? I had 1 card fall on the floor. King of Swords. I have the 10 of Cups. Will Trump take over Greenland? Will Trump take over Greenland? Oh, I had 2 cards, and I don't know which one fell first. So I'm just going to read these off here. We have the Queen of Coins, and we also have the Hermit in reverse. I kind of feel like um Trump is going to maybe jump the gun again, like he did with Venezuela. He's like, well, if it's a surprise attack, or if I usher in, I don't know, like a military base or something in this one particular area, almost like I'm kind of getting something along the lines of, if he feels like if he does the Putin, and I don't know if this even makes sense, but it feels like if I almost pull like a Putin, I'll just put up a base or something here, or creep into the territory and just slowly like try to take it over, or put up land protective land rights or something, to continue just encroaching until, I have it the way I want, kind of thing. Is almost like what it is. It almost feels like I don't care what I have to do to get it. If I have to steal it by force, or diplomatically, like um or moving in under some facade of righteousness, or a justification of some sorts. That's almost kind of like the energy that I'm getting here. Look, I am getting the Fool in reversed. I don't know if this is stating, if this leaning to kind of like, um it is a fool's errand to kind of run on this, like you're gonna be embarrassed, or speaking of it's failing, we do have the Priestess, that is trust, intuition, coming in here, and then we also have the Missionary of Wands coming up in reverse as well. Okay, no, I think I know what it's saying. I don't think the cards are telling me exactly if he's going to take over Greenland. I think I'm more so picking up on, if he was to take over Greenland, it's kind of like he's going to be painting America with the. You're going to be putting more of a scarlet letter on America. You're gonna get them pushed from the, like, is yeah, I'm kind of seeing like a lunchroom. Like, you're gonna get Americans pushed from maybe like the jock table, and you're gonna get them pushed to like the popular kids table. Um or like you're gonna get them moved from like the artsy fartsy table to the emo table or something. Like, you're gonna get it pushed into another table. It's gonna make, again, it's just gonna switch up a lot of alliances and things that's out here. Let's see. I'm gonna shuffle one more time and see if I get anything else. Oh, wait, the book. I'm wondering why it was hard to shuffle, because I got the book. Trying to shuffle with the book. Let's see here. Okay, that's the first card here. We have the Knave of Clubs. To me, it's like he's just hot enough to do it. Like, he's just riding on the high. He's just kind of like arrogant enough to do it. Like, with this Knave of Cups. If it's going to be the best plan, is it going to be well thought out? Is it going to be for the best? We don't know. Okay. We also have the Empress. Okay. And then we have the Six of Coins. The Six of Coins. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of fiery energy here. Also with the Ten of Coins. Okay, so one thing I am picking up on, and yeah, and look, then I also have the Seven of Coins here. It kind of feels like don't Seven of Coins, Seven of Coins. It kind of feels like I would say the word of caution that I'm giving here, if anybody in his administration is listening, it kind of seems like, and they probably know better than me, don't overestimate the power that America holds. And don't overestimate how much money and stuff like that we have at our disposal, because if you go through this fight, this pull, this push pull, especially when it comes to like financial matters and trying to maybe acquire Greenland, because maybe that's the tactic that is on the table right now. There's like maybe some financial or resourceful trade or exchange or something that's probably on the table, or that he's trying to work through and maneuver, and maybe not going in with like the strong hand. He's trying to go in with kind of like a soft power approach almost. um it's like, don't overestimate that, because at the end of the day, you could kind of go in and you could acquire Greenland, or possess it, take it, whatever the case may be, but you are going to overextend the resources and things like that that's at play here in America, and it's going to be on a sharp decline after that. It's like basically Greenland will be the beginning to your end, the beginning of the end. Essentially, it's kind of like what I'm getting here. Is what I'm picking up on. See, yeah, look, the Devil card. I'm also getting, oh, the Hermit came out twice. And the Strength card. Those are all major. All three of these came up. Yeah, it's like, hedge your bets, buddy. Don't overextend yourself in the power and stuff that you hold. Don't think, don't think and have us all in trouble. Okay. So yeah, I think at least for now, the energies I'm getting, I would say Greenland, you're safe. There's still a lot of maneuverings. I think it definitely feels like he's kind of trying to poke around and see if he feels like a weakness or a hole or a gap, some kind of exploit that he can utilize. But if he was smart, and if his people were smart, again, maybe they know something I don't. They would very much hedge their bets and play it safe. But yeah. The next thing I am going to get into, we're going to look at this whole situation with ICE. If there is going to be some changes in regards to how ICE is doing. Is there going to be some kind of rollback on funding with ICE, some dismantling of ICE, because they have really pissed people off. I just want to note that Four of Swords tried to come out again, but what I do have right now is, oh, the Moon. Two of Swords. Hey, I've been getting a lot of these coming out like this. Okay. So I have the Moon coming up in reverse. I have the Two of Swords, and then I also have the King of Cups here. So interestingly enough, the Moon here, especially with it coming up in reverse. Okay, nope. Let me change what I was gonna say. This feels more so like there is a lot of, and we already see it happening. I think this is speaking to a lot of the secrecy and the rug sweeping, the under the rug sweeping that ICE is going through right now, especially in regards to kind of like who their leader is, Miss Nomi Nome. A lot of like what they call it, like truth stretching. Is that what we want to call it? There's a lot of that going on, and I think that's what the Moon card is referring to here. With the Two of Swords, I feel like that's very much the internal attitude that is going on amongst, would you call them ICE agents? or within the ICE corporation, business, whatever you want to call it, police industry itself, where they are very much feeling like this is simply because we haven't. So you know how, like, and don't get me wrong, because I understand this is also an issue, but you know how Border Patrol right now is, or at least previously, they had a lot of these cool videos. They were kind of like edge lording it, with a lot of their promotional and marketing materials and things like that. Um, I feel like they're like, how can we copy that or mimic that approach, that strategy with ICE, especially with all of this stuff that is going on. And I think they're struggling on how they can make that work. Because when it comes to one thing with Border Patrol, it's kind of like, and I hate to say it this way, I feel like there's a large portion of people who can agree with, yeah, you can do that to people who are non-citizens, detain them, get them out. Versus with ICE, it's a struggle, because you are attacking, you know, U.S. citizens. You are attacking people who are lawfully here. Like, how are you going to watch that? People have a problem when it comes to like state violence. They have an issue with that. And I think they are struggling really hard to kind of like market or brand ICE to where people are okay with a lot of the upsetting things that are coming on, that are coming out, that is taking place with them. And I think once they feel like they found the pocket that'll make people swallow this pill, this tough big horse pill that they're kind of trying to shove down our throats, um they're gonna go full speed ahead. I don't think there's any changing. Now, with this King of Cups coming up in reverse, again, to me, funny enough, this still feels like it's almost like presentation. It still feels like marketing. It still feels like advertising. Like, how can we make this look cool? Like, we were able to get people to sign up. We were able to, you know, so what I'm getting is kind of like we were able to market this where we have the not the soldiers, but the staffing. But why don't we have all this staff and not the issue or the problem for them to address, and it's making it hard for us to do our job. So I feel like that's a lot of, again, to me it feels like a lot of this is about the visibility, the packaging, the marketing, the advertising of ICE, and how they can make their mission look appealing to where people can, Congress and the Senate can pull back on, hey, we need to abolish them because they're worried about what their voters are thinking. And how can we get our voters, the American citizens, to agree with these heinous acts? I don't know how else to put that. Look, we also have the Pioneer of Wands here. Missionary of Wands. Woo, child. And then we Ten of Cups. Yeah. ICE needs to be very careful because they're on the, and maybe that's the other thing that they want. Maybe they want to spark some kind of like revolt. Um, because I see that it's a lot of, they're like, hey, this is probably the way we can get a lot of steam, a lot of like ire around this, but maybe it's not gonna be for the best. It's like, the underlying card I'm getting here is the Missionary of Cups. Let me put this on screen for you all to see. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to make sure my camera is kind of even here. There we go. We have the Missionary of Cups also coming up in reverse. Oh, okay. The Moon, the Cups card. How can we play on people's emotions? How can we Yeah, how can we play on people's emotions again to kind of for the marketability of ice to make this acceptable? Because at least with the again, I keep comparing it to this, but I kind of feel like again going to like border patrol and the detention camps and stuff that they're erecting everywhere is that we were able to get people behind it because we were, people blame a lot of Americans or most Americans blame or have a finger that they can point at. We've drawn a thorough line from how immigration is impacting their everyday lives. So they're behind that. They're not U.S. citizens and not somebody that they're impacted by. At least they think they are. How can we get that to work for ICE? Again, and then we also have the 8 of coins here. See, yeah, I almost feel like it's like a military draft kind of thing. This is, if I was to could do some kind of comparison, and this may be a bad comparison because, like I said, I'm not that well informed when it comes to political matters and geopolitics and etc. This kind of feels like maybe what it would have been like because the word that came to me was like during the Vietnam War, how a lot of the American sentiment was very much against the Vietnam War, but the government was like, well, we gotta stick through this, we gotta do this, we gotta support our allies, and people were like, no, we don't like this. But you still had people who were signing up, you still had people who were going because it was like, well, it's the opportunity for me to kind of like come up in life. And I think even though the reason a lot of people are signing up for ICE right now is kind of like under false or misleading terms and kind of superficial, is still working. But again, how can we get the public to be on our side to agree with this? Again, is a thing that keeps coming up for me. So right now, I would say just if I was completing the reading here, it just feels like no, it doesn't feel like ICE is going to go anywhere soon. If anything, they're trying to kind of like rebrand, repackage ICE to where people are okay with their purpose. See, look, how can we get people to like us, to be in alignment with us? How we can get them to fall in love? Um, because you see how it's like two people arguing over this lover, this guy in the middle. It's like, how can we get people to fall in love with us, to be with us? Who's in the right here? Oh, okay. Well, I have 4 cards here. I believe this one fell first. Yeah, look, Wheel of Fortune. I think there might be some money being pulled out of it. And look, the moon is coming out again. And then we also have the King of Cups. Didn't I have, yeah, King of Cups. Okay, who is this King of Cups that keeps coming up? Is Christy Nome a water sign, maybe? Because the King of Cups has come up twice now. And the moon has also come up again, but this time it's coming up in the upright. I think there is going to be some changes within ICE. I don't know if it's maybe Christy Nome is going to be moved, or maybe they're going to have a guy kind of come in. Or there is going to be some secrets or some revelations being approved here after like this downturn that they're about to experience. Because look, I get the sword. Wait, let me look at the underlying energy. It's 10 of Wands, 9 of Coins, sorry, 6 of Coins, and then Ace of Disc. Yeah, it feels like they're gonna try to pour money into the rebranding. Some money may be pulled from mm, their like is it like the tool budget or something? Like, yeah, we're not gonna give you a lot of money for like weapons or tactical vest or, whatever the case may be, mobility things, but maybe they'll get a bit of money to like remarket, rebrand itself. Or maybe they're going to get a better leader who is more, um, which I highly doubt. This sounds very weird to me. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to put it out there. Unless this person is a trickster of some sorts, there maybe somebody is going to be, a new face is going to pop up at ICE or something like that, or Chris, maybe removes, and they're going to have, or is it Christy Nome that's over it, or is that Pam Bondi? I don't remember. One of them. Whoever is over it will be removed, and somebody else, a new kind of like leadership or a lens will be laid over it, and that's probably going to be part of the rebranding. I would say take it with a grain of salt and don't trust it. As long as it's under this administration, I would say don't trust it. Um, don't trust it as far as you can throw it, honestly, because this feels like some underhand trickery to me. They are going to go through. I think if people want people to be punished, or face some kind of repercussions in regards to what has transpired, I think you can hang that up. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think they're going to go through a brand wash, a rebrand of some sorts. Maybe certain people will be maneuvered, certain changes and things like that is going to take place within ICE. Maybe there is going to be some refunding or some funding at least being spent when it comes to maybe how they are utilized. But if you are expecting somebody to be kind of like dragged into court and answer for the things that they've done, I don't think you're going to get that. I think they're going to very much just like be like, yeah, well, we made the changes, be happy with it, and go about your business. Um, and I very much don't see things getting better. I very much see them possibly getting worse before they're getting better. Um, yeah, let me see. Is there. Yeah. Could Trump want ICE out of the way? And then we have the Six of Swords, Discovery, Emperor. I don't know why I'm getting at home and abroad. At home and abroad. The Emperor card makes me a little nervous because sometimes it can be interpreted as like an abuse of power, coming up here with it coming up in reverse. But maybe it could also be, on the other end of things, it could be a failure. Also kind of like maybe an ego sting of some sorts. Why am I getting, what is he looking for? What is the ice? I'm getting something about searching. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hone in on what this is. Like searching for something in regards to ice at home and abroad. I don't know, it's gone. It's gone. You know what card keeps coming up though? It's actually two of them. Oh, three. Interesting. These same ones are coming up on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so the Eight of Wands is something new. This was not coming up earlier. Um, that's like resting up before a war, or you're like feeling beaten after a battle and you're kind of like doing retreat, and I feel like that's kind of like what ice is doing. We also have the Nine of Cups. This is often a wish fulfillment, but with this coming up in reverse, it's kind of like, okay, it's not happening maybe the way that you want it, as fast as you want it, or maybe it's not happening right now. It's something with that coming up. This Eight of Coins is coming up again. I keep getting something about like the Vietnam War here. Maybe somebody can expand on this. I feel like it's some kind of parallel here that I am not informed upon. This Death card is coming up again, and the Missionary of Cups. Those same cards are constantly coming up about ice. Yeah, okay, that's my best interpretation of it. The other string that's going on with this here, I'm not sure. Um, but oh, okay, wait. I don't know why this is coming up for me. Okay. Again, I'll probably look this up later, or somebody again can expand on this. Is the parallel here? I feel like my candle started flickering. I think I'm on it. Is the parallels here? I know very much like during the Vietnam War, it was a lot of racial tensions that was going on. A lot of people will argue that's what's going on now. I will argue it's mainly class tensions. Um, and right now it's kind of like the foreigners are the black people in this situation, but it's also very much Trump is still out looking abroad in the world for um basically like planting his flag and to make a name for himself, or when he's out of office, it'll be like, yeah, I did this, I did that, I did this. Again, those notches, those goals and stuff like that he has in mind, that's all coming up here. And so I wonder if that's what the parallels here. It's kind of like, again, this has happened before. Like you see the playbook and you see what's going to happen. I don't know what kind of like, I feel like at that time there was more of the National Guard or maybe military that was utilized during those times. But yes, it's like, okay, yeah, y'all processing, y'all doing all this stuff at home. Okay, I'm gonna beat y'all over the head until you understand and agree with what I'm doing. Um, so that I can enact my full power. Because if at home and abroad is at turmoil, I have the means to, I don't know, maybe put some kind of power or rule or law into, exercise some rule or law or whatever that will further consolidate my power and allow me to do what I want to do or something. I feel like maybe that's what's coming up, but I could be wrong. But yes, I feel like that was what these cards were. That was what was coming through for me intuitively again. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to save my interesting piece for last, and that is, so there are some grumblings going on again because of again, Trump has now created a board. I think it's called the Board of Peace. I think that's literally what it's called. And there are some unsavory characters that are supposed to be coming to the table that is a part of the partnership. And a lot of people are raising their eyebrows because it seems like he's forming the cabal, or the, what they call it, the gauntlet that's had all the gemstones in it for Marvel. It's like he's putting that together. He's like assembling the Dark Avengers or something. And a lot of people are kind of like eyebrows in hairline about it, because they're like, this Board of Peace is sounding like it's not going to be a board of peace. It sounds like it's a board of bullies. Um, and so people are kind of raising their eyes about it. But for me, was making me look at this crazy is that apparently this was something that was had been in the works and had been a plan years in the making in regards to a particular strip in the Middle East that a lot of people have been, or a particular group have been clearing out. And so um yeah, I kind of want to see what's going on with that, because I believe also the president of this particular group of people, the leader of this particular group of people, is also supposed to be on this board of peace, and they are already like, I'm pretty sure there's been some things against this person in regards to kind of like them violating human rights laws and war, what they call it, wartime laws or something like that. Again, I'm ignorant, I'm sorry, I'm kind of blanking on the words, but I'm pretty sure those, a lot of that is at play. But nevertheless, it's been proposed. People are suggesting people pretty much do the pay for play to kind of just screw all the little people and do what they want. So I'm going to read on the Board of Peace and what's going to be coming out of it. What is its intentions? What's going to be the future of it? Especially in regards to this particular strip in the Middle East, and see what comes up. So let's get into that. Okay, this wants to come out. This is Pioneer of Corns. Pioneer of Coins, not corns, girl. I'm getting 4 of coins. I'm not surprised I'm getting a lot of coins here, because a lot of people suspect that it's just a money grab here for him. Because I think they were saying like membership starts at was it $1 million, $1 billion, something like that. One thing that's coming through for me, and I hope I'm wrong, it feels like it's a, I'm getting like money front. It's a front. Look, let's see if we can get all these on the screen. So I have again the Pioneer of Coins, or the Prince of Coins. I have the 4 of Coins. I have the 6 of Wands in reverse. I have the Magician in reverse. I have the Judgment card in reverse. And then I also have the 4 of Cups coming up here in reverse as well. Or maybe can I do it like this so you all can see it? Yeah, that looks better. Let's do it like that so it's not cut off. Um, Again, this is making me feel like this is all a front. It's not really a board of peace. I know some people want to believe that, or some people already had their suspicions, but it doesn't seem like it's that. It feels like it's a, almost what I'm getting is like, this is a way we can form certain alliance or agreements or talk or exchange money, and um in an upright way, and nobody can say anything. It'll be under the guise of, hey, we were talking. It's under these lawful conditions. It's very much in line or in tune with doing these kind of like missions, or making these statements, these promises, but it's really just for us to kind of like shoot the shit and do what we want, without any regard or having to go through certain channels that wouldn't allow us to do it in any other way. Look, we have justice here. We the people. King of coins coming up here as well. And then we also have the nine of coins. I think he's. Is it just a lot of hard headedness? It's going to be a lot of this isn't happening. Head bumping or bruising is going on. And I know there's this talking point going around that Donald Trump, when I say he, is supposed to be the president of this board of peace. Even when he leaves the American office, it seems like he's trying to maybe set up some kind of sweetheart deal for himself, following his closeout of the being the um, president of the free world, essentially. Like, I'm trying to make sure I have something that I can like sit back on and still collect checks and live comfortably. I feel like there's more so what's coming up here, but it's again with this nine of coins coming up in reverse, I just don't feel like it's not gonna iron out the way that you want. There's still gonna be wrinkles in this. Maybe it's still not gonna lift off the ground. Maybe there may be, I don't know why I'm getting like sanctions or some kind of like restrictions or something put in place to kind of like, no, we're not letting this happen. We need to stop that. Stop it here. Stop it here. Stop it now. There's some kind of independence or something. Maybe they're gonna put some yeah, maybe that'll be the stipulations. Like, no, you can have your board of peace, but it has to be overseen by such and such and such and such, or it has to have these checks and balances. Um, you have to go through audits. The money has to go through this, or the money has to be used, or X amount of money has to be used for this humanitarian thing and this humanitarian thing. Like, you can't just go in here and do what you want to with it, which I kind of find hard to believe, but that's sort of like the energy that I'm getting here with that. Okay, let's see if I can get more clarity on this. That doesn't count. Okay, maybe you do, because this Queen of Clubs said, I'm coming out here, baby. I'm doing what I want. She flipped up in my hand again. See, that Judgment card is all up and through here. Didn't I have Six of Cups somewhere else? No, that was Six of Wands. That's King of Cups. Okay. Okay, and then we have the coins. Yeah, it seems that he's trying to set up some kind of retirement plan for himself. Or some way he can still legally make a whole lot of money and not have to go through certain channels to make it happen. But I think a lot of it is going to get exposed if it hasn't already been exposed. So yeah, collaborations fail. It's not going to be. I almost feel like even if he was to put himself as like king of the board, somebody's gonna try to throw him out and take it over for themselves. I don't know if he has any stipulations around there, like in the case that he passes away or he doesn't get to sit there. How does the what they call it, exchange of power or the handoff of power? How is that going to happen? And then we have the Six of Wands here as well. Sorry, swords. I keep with the Marseilles, with the one coming up straight. I be swearing the crooked ones are the swords, but apparently they are the wands. Let me double check and make sure. Yeah. Love the way that you, boy, I'd rather be with you. Boy, I'd rather be with you. Yeah, the swords are turned. Okay, yeah. So this is the wands. So the Nine of Wands, yeah. Three of Cups, heavy burden, exchanges. And then I also have the Six of Coins here. Feels like this is just going to lead to infighting. I don't think you thought this through. I don't think so. Okay, now what is the Board of Peace's intention when it comes to gossip? Mm. See, why the Six of Coins is coming up a lot? So it's definitely for the resources of this particular strip in the Middle East. And I don't think it's all necessarily mm, maybe like financial. It feels more so religious political resources. If that makes sense is what I'm picking up on. Because I'm getting like heart, mind, and spirit. Like somebody wants control of heart, mind, and spirit. I don't think it's just necessarily dealing with. And I also feel like foretelling is something that's coming up. I don't know why that's coming up. Foretelling. Um, is it foretelling or what is that? Not conspiracy. When you have a, is it a premonition about something? Um, Yeah, I'm getting something like maybe like a premonition of foretelling. I don't know what's the word I'm trying to say right now. A foretelling of something, and then it's like, okay, we're trying to make it come true, or it's a sign of this actually happened. And I feel like this is something I've gotten a couple of times when it comes to this particular place in the Middle East with all of this strife. It kind of feels like forcing prophecy. That's the word. It's kind of feel like a forcing of a prophecy to come true. Yeah. I think that's in regards to the people that were originally there. The removal, pushing out, exclusion. I'm also getting Nine of Cups here again in reverse. And that Eight of Wands is coming up again. Okay, maybe that's what it is. We are confined by maybe a set a previous we are confined by an agreed upon set of rules for how certain things wants to go, but this board of peace, if we can formalize this and make it, and turn this into fruition, make it a possibility, we won't be beholden to these confinements and restrictions that we previously agreed upon, and we will be able to work outside the box or work outside those confinements and do what we want to do, and kind of fill it in the way we want. I think that's more so what this is. Yeah. mm, isn't it something about groves in that particular area too? Groves meetup spot. Notice it's a guy kind of like Here we go with that political religious thing here. Notice that it's a like a preacher or a pastor right here. Okay, I may have to do a follow up reading on this because this is already extremely long. But I feel like there's what is the political religious importance of this place? Like I assume it's I know there has been a lot of political strife and things or political plays that have gone on because of this particular place. The religious part of it I'm not too informed of, and I feel like I'm out here in open ocean waters trying to freaking paddle to shore that I don't see. I'm not I feel like I'm not picking up on it. It might be right there in my face, but because I don't know what I'm talking about, I can't provide it to you. Um, yeah, I would say if you did know, hopefully this reading gives you some insight that this board of peace probably should not be formed because it sounds like it's pretty much like a it's gonna be it's gonna be the world leaders form of um money wash, a laundromat, a front in order to do more atrocities without any checks and balances. That's mainly what I'm getting. And I don't think it's being very well thought out because, again, okay, so say he is a president of this board and he holds the power and dictates it and do whatever, blah, 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 blah. Who is going to hold it after him? How is how is the transfer of power going to work? Um, is it just based on whoever has the most money or the most military power? And they can just sit on it and call themselves the board of peace, and but meanwhile they're running around rampant, just kind of like torching people's backyards and being a nuisance. Like, you get what I'm saying? I don't know if that's something that's really being thought of here, and maybe it's not being thought of because it's like it's just for the meantime. But we only need it for a few years to kind of like get things done and do what we need to do, turn around some stuff, and yeah, we're out of here. We're done. So yeah, let me know what you think about this reading, and if I should do a follow up one, a more in depth one on any one of these subjects here that I'm, kind of focused in on. Let me know. I would be more than happy to do so. If you have some insight, if you can provide some education down in the comment section, much appreciated. I thank you ahead of time. I also thank you for sticking with me through this reading. If you watched it all the way to the end, give it a thumbs up if you like this reading, and I will catch you all in the next one. In the meantime, in between time, I'm wishing you all a great night, day, or evening wherever you are. May you stay safe, blessed, and in community with others, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.